it's Roll for Crit, and right now we're about to review the debut of a new system from Cryptozoic known as the Griffon Engine. And there are two games coming out at the same time that are associated with this engine: Challenge of the Superfriends and Look Who's Purging Now. One based on, of course, the DC Superfriends cast, the other based on Rick and Morty. These games are actually based on an existing game called Eggs and Empires, which Cryptozoic purchased the license to, and they are now putting out with a new thematic twist on it in these games.
Yeah, so the first two games pretty much work the same way. Everyone will get a deck, one of 4 possible characters, that are pretty similar to each other. I think they have about 3 cards unique to each deck. So like Batman and Robin have the Batmobile and stuff. Superman also has a vehicle because this is back during, Super Friends time, so a little weird there. And of course they've got more stuff related to the one Purge episode, because as the Rick and Morty games go, 1 episode per game. That's it. You will flip a number of these objective or festival cards equal to the number of players in the game, and they will either have positive or negative points on them, and maybe some other special abilities. So once you see all the possible objectives or festivals in the center, we'll move this out of the way for now. Each person who has their own little deck and will usually have 3 cards in hand will secretly choose 1 card to play. I'm not even going to look for it now.
Boom.
Then we'll throw in some more. Everyone will reveal. And you will do if they have any abilities. Oh, wow. Okay.
3 flashes.
They do something weird, so for the sake of argument, let's get some smaller things in here. You will compare the numbers, and if there is 2 of the same, actually, maybe we do want that flashback in there, you look at the second number for a tiebreaker. But once again, you decide the order, so that in this case, ignoring abilities, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the order you'll choose objectives. So obviously, if you're first, you're probably going to choose one of the positive scores, leaving the negative scores whoever's last to pick. There may be some ways where you might not be able to choose an objective because you can play a card that says you can't choose a negative objective, which is still better than choosing the negative objective. Sometimes a card like this makes you draw from the weakness or challenge deck, which pretty much will have a bad effect happen to you. Like this one makes pretty much gives you -2 points for the rest of the game. Some maybe discard a card, maybe nothing. So after the 6th round, you're going to total all your victory points from the objective or festivals and see who wins.
The idea then is that you would play 2 or 3 matches and see who won the most over a period of time. It is a very, very simple game. Essentially, you're trying to read your opponents to figure out which numbers you know that they have played and which numbers may still be in their hand, and maybe when you should sacrifice a lower number card because you don't really care about these objectives that are currently up, or if you want to save a higher numbered card for one that you really do. And of course, depending on those abilities, can really change things because they might say, maybe this card isn't that good number-wise, but if you play it at the right time, it has an effect that if someone else plays another card of the same type, or maybe of a different type, you can get something and actually come out ahead of things. So in that sense, I think in terms of both its complexity and just kind of the style of play, it reminded me a lot of Love Letter. I don't know if you got that, if you felt that at all when playing it, which is another simple card game where you're kind of bluffing and trying to read your opponents a little bit here and there.
I guess a little bit now that it did not come to mind when I was playing it. Honestly, I was, maybe for whatever reason, whenever I was playing it, I wasn't thinking less of like, he might have a 4 or 5. I'm just like, this is the one I want to win, so that's where I'm putting a high number in. So I was a bit more self-centered, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I think that comes a lot more into play in, this goes from 2 to 4 players, and I think what we found is that the 2-player game, again, like Love Letter, you can do it, but it really is designed for larger groups.
Yeah, some of the cards may say for each person who reveals or plays like this card, or you get to go first and choose someone else's. They sort of become pointless if it's just 1v1. So
yeah, and a bunch of them, even the special powers are things like if you get an extra point for every card of this type someone else plays. So it's like, oh, so maybe 1? So it's not that exciting. And also like Love Letter, I'll keep comparing. That's the last time I'll compare it to it. Goes to 4 players. Is a simple party game, but I think feels like it could easily go to 6 or more players because the plays are all simultaneous, and I feel like the more you add in, the better that it could be.
Well, actually, one of the things we talked about, actually taking into account like having 8 people.
Right.
So playing that way instead of simply just mixing the cards and maybe choosing 2 decks with the same.
Mm-hmm.
You can mix it, but you'll have to be careful with some keywords, like something says for every flamethrower that's played. These don't have flamethrowers, so maybe you have to be like, okay, flamethrower is the 4 number, so whenever a 4 counts as a flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
So that little finagling you have to do with words.
What you could do, I think, that wouldn't be too much trouble is combine 2 of the same set. And that might make it a little bit better. Yeah, but as it stands, it's strictly a 2 to 4 player game, and I think 3 or 4 is definitely what you want to hit. We experienced plenty of randomness. What's going to come out of here in terms of these points? It could very well just go badly or very well for you when you play without too much input of your own. But I think when the game works well with those higher numbers, it does have the potential to be a light, kind of fun theme like a love letter, especially if you're with a group who just likes a Rick and Morty theme and something like that you could interest more casual players in and plays quickly as well.
That's definitely, I think this is more of a gateway game to me. Like, it's nice, it's small, very simple. You have 10 cards to worry about. You know.
Filler is definitely the word I would use. This is what you play in between rounds of other games.
There isn't too much of a difference. It's more a theme. Personally, I think I like the Superfriends one more. Almost because it's a lighter game and such. I think that fits the Superfriends or that silly, cheesy old cartoon style. And because it's also the entire series, the cards feel more unique when I feel the festival cards are all just different. Like, they must have went through the episode and just waited scene from scene,
It is. They do have different unique powers amongst the characters, so that is one difference. But I don't think there's anything like, oh man, the powers were way more fun in this version.
Oh yeah, no, they're nothing crazy like that. It's like such a small thing of why to buy one. Honestly, like I said, just go for whatever you want theme-wise.
Crits and misses for the Griffon Engine card games from Cryptozoic. Crits. It's simple pick-up-and-play gameplay that you could teach anybody in a matter of minutes and play multiple rounds in a night very, very quickly and easily. Being familiar with the card's different numbers and special abilities will eventually allow for some interesting bluffing and tricky tactics in spite of the simplicity of the gameplay.
Misses. This game really needs at least 3 or 4 players to be fun. A lot of the cards are boring or pointless in a 1v1 match. The objective and festival deck can be extremely random. We've actually seen it allow someone to swing from first to last in less than 1 turn.
This isn't so bad for a filler game and something that you're probably not going to take too seriously, but it can feel like you kind of don't have any agency in the way you're playing.
As someone who's been collecting all these Cerberus Engine games from Cryptozoic, seeing this I was very curious, and I do think there are a lot of merit to it. It's a light game in the small box. If you do enjoy Rick and Morty, Superfriends, this would be an easy, cheap game that won't either hurt your wallet and won't either take up all your game night time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wasn't as excited to play, and even then, the deck building game I really like, but as you said, that one doesn't do much for you because it's basic deck building. Mm-hmm. So to me, I feel like this is just basic point playing or something. It wasn't enough to draw me in to think about. I can't wait to pull this off my shelves again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a filler game. It is what it is. It's very fast paced. It's very simple. It's small. It's cheap. It really is just the kind of thing that if you need a little something to spice up your game nights, in between games, or if you just have 5 minutes maybe even to play a game and you don't know what to pull out, you're waiting for people to show up, it'll fit that position, but it's not going to really be the kind of thing that you're hankering to play more of.
But hey, that's another Rick and Morty episode done. Hopefully we'll be able to finish all of season 1 and 2 before the show ends.
Yeah, well, we're really rooting for Cryptozoic to keep going with that. Hey, talk to us in the comments. Let us know, have you played maybe the original Eggs and Empires game that this system is based on? Or have you played one of these new games in the series, and do you have thoughts on them? Talk to us right down there. Also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. We're all over the place. Check us out. All kinds of themes we've got going on. Until we talk to you again, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this was a Roll for Crit review.
Hey, if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and like this video for more excellent board game content.
Heck yeah!